I didn't view it as a code, unwritten code thing. I don't view life in that way.
Yeah.
It either is or isn't. People that work together, there are probably other people that are in relationship now whose ex-spouses or people that used to work together.
Right.
Derek Fisher built a reputation as one of the NBA's most dependable leaders, earning 5 championships and the trust of teammates throughout a remarkable career. But away from the spotlight, a series of controversial decisions slowly unraveled everything he had worked to achieve. How did one of basketball's most respected figures become a name surrounded by scandal and criticism? Stay with us as we uncover the choices that transformed his legacy and changed the way the basketball world remembers him. The moment Derek Fisher lost the NBA's trust. For years, Derek Fisher represented everything an NBA organization could ask for. He won 5 championships with the Los Angeles Lakers, built a reputation as one of the league's most dependable veterans, and earned praise for delivering in pressure-filled moments. Teammates respected his leadership, coaches trusted his judgment, and many believed his experience would naturally lead to success after his playing career ended. That belief opened the door to one of basketball's most anticipated coaching opportunities. In 2014, the New York Knicks hired Fisher as their head coach, awarding him a 5-year contract reportedly worth $25 million, despite his lack of coaching experience. The organization hoped his championship background and leadership would inspire a struggling franchise. Instead, the job quickly proved far more difficult than expected. Players struggled to embrace his system, results failed to improve, and questions about his ability to lead from the sidelines began growing louder. While the Knicks searched for answers on the court, an even bigger controversy was quietly developing away from basketball, one that would soon overshadow everything happening during the season. In late 2015, news surfaced that Fisher was dating Gloria Govan, the former wife of his ex-Lakers teammate Matt Barnes. Although personal relationships are often viewed as private matters, this one struck a nerve throughout the basketball community. Fisher and Barnes had once shared a locker room during championship years, and many around the league believed Fisher had crossed an unwritten line by becoming involved with someone so closely connected to a former teammate. The situation exploded when Barnes confronted Fisher at Govan's home in Redondo Beach, California. Reports that Fisher had also been spending time with Barnes's twin sons only intensified the controversy, creating the impression that the conflict had become deeply personal rather than remaining a private relationship. Almost overnight, the image Fisher had spent decades building began to crack. The dependable leader, who had earned respect through championship runs, suddenly found himself at the center of headlines, focused on betrayal instead of basketball. Fisher later insisted that his personal life had nothing to do with his dismissal from the Knicks, maintaining that the team's decision was based solely on basketball. But by then, public perception had already shifted. Combined with the team's disappointing 23-31 record during the 2015-16 season, the controversy made it increasingly difficult for players, fans, and even the organization to view him with the same confidence as before. In February 2016, the Knicks officially ended Fisher's coaching tenure after less than 2 seasons. What had once seemed like the perfect opportunity to begin a successful coaching career instead became another chapter in a growing story of damaged trust and lost credibility. Yet even after losing one of the NBA's most coveted jobs, Fisher's biggest setback was still waiting just around the corner, when every mistake came back to haunt him. Losing the Knicks job could have been the turning point Derek Fisher needed to rebuild both his career and his reputation. Instead, the months that followed pushed him even farther from the respect he once commanded. In June 2017, Fisher was involved in a frightening crash on the 101 freeway in Los Angeles. Driving a Cadillac Escalade with Gloria Govan as a passenger, he reportedly lost control of the vehicle, struck a guardrail, and rolled the SUV onto its roof before it slid across several lanes. Remarkably, both survived without life-threatening injuries, but the outcome could have been far more tragic. Authorities arrested Fisher at the scene and charged him with 2 counts of driving under the influence. The incident quickly became national news, shifting attention away from his accomplishments on the court and placing another damaging headline beside his name. Rather than contesting the charges, Fisher later entered a no-contest plea. The decision brought legal penalties that included fines, license-related consequences, and mandatory alcohol education under California law. Yet the courtroom outcome was only part of the damage. Public confidence in the former NBA champion had eroded even further, with many seeing the crash as evidence that his earlier controversies were not isolated incidents, but part of a troubling pattern. Looking back, each setback seemed to build on the last. The highly publicized conflict with Matt Barnes had already weakened the trust many people once placed in him. His disappointing coaching tenure with the Knicks raised questions about his leadership. The DUI case only reinforced the perception that poor judgment continued to follow him, both personally and professionally. The financial consequences also mounted. Fisher's lucrative coaching contract had ended early, and opportunities that often await retired NBA stars, broadcasting roles, front office positions, and future coaching jobs, became increasingly difficult to secure. A resume once defined by championships was now overshadowed by controversy. Although Barnes would eventually say the two had moved past their differences, repairing one relationship did little to restore Fisher's standing across the basketball world. The league that once celebrated his leadership appeared to move forward without him, leaving many to wonder whether his reputation could ever recover. As the years passed, the biggest question was no longer about what Derek Fisher had done. It became why the NBA seemed unwilling to fully embrace one of its former champions ever again. From NBA champion to basketball outcast. Years have passed since Derek Fisher's biggest controversies dominated sports headlines. Yet his story remains one of the clearest examples of how quickly a celebrated legacy can change. While many former NBA players eventually returned to the league as coaches, television analysts, or front office executives after personal setbacks, Fisher's post-playing journey has unfolded very differently. Despite winning 5 NBA championships and building a reputation as one of basketball's most dependable leaders, he has never truly reclaimed the standing he once held within the sport. That shift did not happen because of one isolated mistake. Instead, it was the result of several high-profile events that gradually reshaped public perception. His relationship with Gloria Gavan sparked criticism throughout the basketball community. His disappointing tenure with the New York Knicks raised doubts about his leadership away from the court. Then came the DUI arrest, adding another damaging chapter to an already troubled narrative. Together, those moments overshadowed accomplishments that had taken decades to build. The rise of social media made that transformation even more difficult to escape. Every controversy was replayed, discussed, and preserved online, reaching audiences well beyond dedicated basketball fans. Matt Barnes's public remarks following Fisher's firing from the Knicks fueled the conversation, while jokes, memes, and criticism continued circulating long after the headlines faded. In an era where almost nothing disappears from the internet, rebuilding a damaged reputation became an uphill battle. Professionally, Fisher's career took a path few would have predicted during his championship years. Rather than receiving another NBA coaching opportunity, he eventually accepted a coaching role at Crespi Carmelite High School in California. He also made a brief appearance on Dancing with the Stars, but neither venture restored the level of influence or recognition he once enjoyed in professional basketball. Meanwhile, many of his former peers successfully transitioned into prominent roles across the NBA, making Fisher's absence even more noticeable. The consequences of his decisions also extended beyond his own career. The public conflict placed Matt Barnes and their families under an intense spotlight, while Barnes's children found themselves caught in the middle of a very personal dispute. The DUI crash endangered not only Fisher and his passenger, but also everyone sharing the freeway that night. The Knicks invested significant time and resources into a coaching experiment that ended far sooner than expected, and countless fans who had admired Fisher as a dependable leader were left questioning the image they had trusted for so many years. Many athletes have managed to recover from scandals through accountability, consistent change, and the passage of time. Fisher's story followed a different course. Whether fairly or unfairly, the combination of controversy, coaching struggles, and legal trouble permanently altered how much of the basketball world viewed him, leaving him largely outside the NBA's inner circle. In the end, Derek Fisher's career stands as a powerful reminder that championships, awards, and unforgettable moments can build a remarkable legacy. But character is what ultimately protects it. A reputation earned over decades can be damaged by a handful of choices. And once trust begins to disappear, even the brightest career can become a cautionary tale remembered more for how it ended than how it began. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on Derek Fisher's story? Share your opinion in the comments. Subscribe for more untold stories, and watch our next video for another unforgettable journey.